Hi, everybody. It's almost 6 o'clock on Friday, June 9th, 2023. And I just thought I would update you on the things I've done today to try and restore my visits with my brother, my disabled brother, Paul Cairns, who's been confined by L'Arche, his group home now for 271 days. So when I got the letter from L'Arche's lawyer, Tara Britnell, last fall on September 14th, she said that I could only visit with Paul by telephone and for 10 minutes on Friday at 4 o'clock. And then the next day she sent me a letter and she said they changed the time till 4:30. So I was only allowed to visit with him at 4:30. Now he's just confined in his room or sitting in the living room at the group home. So it's not like he's out and about doing exciting things or visiting his loved ones. And I called, so I thought, okay, I'm going to document my attempts to call because normally when I call there, they never let him come to the phone. They never, if they answer the phone, then he's always busy and he can't come for a visit. So I have a letter from L'Arche's lawyer saying, you can visit for 10 minutes by telephone only on Fridays at 4:30. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to document what happens when I try and call because I've never documented it before. So I called at 4:30 exactly. My call went through to voicemail. Now, this is a group home with four adult residents living there. And it's been, the phone is busy and there's people calling, and it's not like, um, they just leave the phone and don't bother to ever answer it. They're important things calls are made like mine. So I called at 4:30. I got voicemail saying that they couldn't come to the phone to leave a message and they would call back. So I called at 4:34 and then at 4:40, and I got the same messages, and I left a message saying that it was important. I wanted to visit with Paul by telephone, according to their lawyer's letter. Um, and they never called back. So by 5:05, they still had not called back. And they eat dinner at 5, so they obviously got the message. So I spent about half an hour writing a lawyer letter to their lawyer, Tara Britnell, and I took a screenshot of my calls, of my attempted calls on my phone, showing that the my calls had gone through to voicemail 3 times. So L'Arche has allowed me to visit with my 65-year-old disabled brother for 10 minutes by telephone only on Friday at 4:30. And I called 3 times and they never called back. They are, so, now I have the proof that I knew it, I knew that they would never, they'd never let him come to the phone. They are barbaric and this is, the thing is that I would recommend to anybody else who's dealing with something like this is you've got to document everything up the yin yang. And so I sent the letter to L'Arche's lawyer with a screenshot of the 3 calls. And I also sent a letter to Sheila Malcolmson, who is the minister of the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction of the NDP government. So British Columbia has an NDP, New Democratic Party, bleeding hard, supposedly fight for the underdog, of which I was a member my entire life. So I sent a letter to the minister that uses your tax dollars, takes your hard-earned tax dollars and gives it to L'Arche. I sent a copy of the letter to Sheila Malcolmson. Remember that name. So she's the one who's responsible for Paul. The buck stops with Sheila Malcolmson. And obviously with David Eby, who's the premier, unelected, but the premier of British Columbia right now. So I didn't send a letter to David Eby because, he's useless. That would be a waste of time. But I did send a letter to Sheila Malcolmson. And so that's, I've documented. And like I said, I would recommend to anybody who's dealing with bureaucracy You just got to document everything up the yin yang. Just document, because judges don't care what you have to say. Your off the cuff comments. They want to see proof. So I have a screenshot of my 3 calls to L'Arche between 4:30 and 4:40, where I got voicemail and nobody ever called back. It's barbaric. What can I say? So this is also information that I need. The other thing that happened today is I got an email from the psychologist group asking for the balance of the retainer. They need a $4,000 retainer before they can start doing their investigation. I can't convey to you how critical this is. This is an investigation that should be done by the public guardian and trustee, that should be done by Community Living BC, that should be done by the RCMP. It should be done by the people who you give your tax dollars to, but it isn't going to happen that way. So unfortunately, the only way that this is going to, the investigation of Paul's confinement is going to, his isolation and confinement is going to get done, is by me paying a psychologist $4,000 to do an investigation. And I'm sure they'll do a good investigation, but that's what it's come down to. So please consider contributing, help bring this sad situation to a happy conclusion so that I can see my dear brother again. Please, I'm so lonely. I miss him so much. I'm sure he's lonely. He misses me. The process server that I served him with documents said that he looks gaunt and he's moving very slowly. Now, he wasn't gaunt and moving very slowly when I saw him 271 days ago. So please, I'm begging you, consider this is a very worthwhile cause. I know you get lots of people asking you for contributions, but this is a concrete, simple step that you can take that will help save a very lonely, vulnerable person. Of course, like I said, these other agents, the public guardian and trustee, Community Living BC, the Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, Sheila Malcolmson, all of these people should have done an investigation and looked into this and rescued Paul from L'Arche. But they're not going to. They're not going to. And the only way to save him is for us to do it. And I'm doing everything that I can in terms of, I'm so tired, this is, being a lawyer is a young man's game. It's not, it's brutally exhausting. Like on Wednesday, as I said, I took the SkyTrain from Coquitlam into Vancouver with 50 pounds of documents in one of those little roller carts that I use for my groceries and carted it all the way back. And I've done that 20 times now. So please consider kicking in a few bucks to our GoFundMe account to hire the psychologist, or you can pay the psychologist directly but at the email by Interact through your bank account. You just click on Interact Transfer, and you can plug in the email address for payments to the psychologist. And they're just waiting. I just got an email from them 3 hours ago saying they're waiting for the balance of $3,400. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Paul, dear, I tried to call you today. 3 times I called, and I left voice messages, and nobody's called me back. And I'm doing everything that I can to see you again. I miss you so much, and I know you miss me. I've got some new Lego for you, some police car Lego, and I still have a big batch of books from the Coquitlam Library for us to read. Take care, dear. Just hang in there. It's going to be soon. I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend, everybody.